You're here to create something wonderful in your life so that you can contribute to the world. You can contribute to the evolution of the world because that's why you were born. But the title of that message, the reason you are here, that's what's on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com, for September the 10th of 2025. But as you go through the messages, you'll see there's an order there that keeps progressing, and it goes from 2008 because we have cycles of energy that move through our planets, through our lives, and through our intelligence. And that's really what we're navigating now, is our intelligence, because we all have access to it, but that's about consciousness. And we decide whether or not we're going to move to a higher state of consciousness within us so that we can accept why we're here, so that then we can offer that to others. And then we repeat this cycle because that's how civilization evolves. It's when more of us can understand the purpose of our existence and then give it to others, and then they start to evolve. And what happened for me is that Wilhelm gave me that system, a way for us to understand why you are here. So it turns out that my entire life was about bringing in this information, bringing in a philosophy that could have you recognize and own yourself and who you are and why you're on the planet at this time. And I will say at this time because we're moving through a big change. Some people call it a big shift, the split, or whatever you think of it, but I know that what it is, it's occurring within each of us, meaning we have to decide that we're going to accept who we are and who we have become, because that's an ongoing process as we live. And so what I'm doing today is accepting who I have become. Because it was surprising, and it'll be surprising for you as well, because we're meant to be unique. We don't come into the world to be a carbon copy of anything that came before, and that in itself can be the difficulty, because you're not accepting who you are and your authentic path, and it makes things challenging. You will have difficulties in your life because of that. But then we find ways of understanding it. We find ways of moving through the doubts, the limitations, the restrictions that are in our consciousness that we know are keeping us from doing what we want or achieving the goals that we want to have in our lives. But Wilhelm laid it all out, because they had me sit for 36 years and receive information that turns out to be an organized, structured philosophy, a psychological architecture that guides you or any person to their highest goals, to achieve their greatest success. Because it's only a matter of moving through a blockage that exists within our consciousness, within our lineage, within what we think is possible, and then we move through it and we accomplish something great. And so what happened for these 36 years of me receiving this information, and because it was organized and aligned energetically to the changes in our world, which I had no awareness of, which is why I couldn't have told you before that this had happened. You can't tell anyone else what you have yet, because you probably have yet to discover it or own it. That is the process we each move through, and we're never done with it as long as we choose to live, as long as we are alive, because there's always more we can do, because it occurs in our consciousness, and we decide if we're going to break through the limitations that have held us back to achieve more. When I was told that this work was meant for this time in our world, I didn't believe myself. But then I saw that it was healing me, and that's what the world wanted as well, was healing. But that can only come through each person. And so this work is intended to guide each person to who they're meant to become in this world. Not anyone else, just you. That's what it is. And this particular time, as the world is splitting, it's been more difficult to find your authentic self, except Wilhelm has given it to us, and they've given it to us in advance. And you will see on the message for the 10th, they had me sit down on the 9th and put it together to show that they've always given us information in advance. You have information in advance as well, because you have guidance, you have that internal voice, you have that as well. We just don't always trust it. This was a system that can allow you to trust who you are and who you have become. And this is what I'm doing now. So all of my work now is going to be about Wilhelm, bringing more of this information through because it's a new architecture, it's a new blueprint for humankind, because now we can understand that all people are born with worth and value. And the more of us who understand it and can accept this, we change our lives, and then we see the world change as well. But now you understand what this work is and why Wilhelm's work, Wilhelm's philosophy will change your life, and eventually it changes our world because more people are owning themselves and prospering and loving themselves and letting go of all the old limitations and judgment and doubts and failures. That's what happens. Now we can achieve greatness. That's what this work is. And that's how I receive the plan to your best life. That I do know I have. Because you were born with purpose and a reason, and it's just about uncovering it, and this work has you accomplish just that. All right. See you soon.